won Songwriter of the Year on Clay's Country Radio.
8 years! Holy crap.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It's been that long, huh?
And Clay, the guy that owned the station, passed away this weekend.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Or end of last week.
That's a bummer. That's sad news. All right.
Yeah, he was a really nice guy. He actually talked me into sending my music into the radio station. It was one of the times where I was kind of down about everything.
And everything.
And he actually talked me into
nice.
Sending my music in and everything.
Lady Death, hello.
Yeah.
Let me turn you up a little bit here. Get you some
Go ahead.
More audio. You know, make sure you're potted up. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Nikai says, why are we sad? We are sad because a guy that I knew, the radio station I won Songwriter of the Year for 8 years ago, passed away this last week.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
But I mean, he's been fighting health issues for a while. Last I knew of, he was doing what do they call it when you go in and you have your blood run through the machine for your kidneys?
Oh yeah, the dialysis.
Dialysis, that's it. Yep.
Dialysis.
Yeah, he was on dialysis then, and that was 4 years ago. Yeah,
give or
4 years
take,
ago.
Yeah, give or take.
Neil lost his uncle. He lost some family member the other day.
Oh, that's still a bummer too.
Alrighty. And our friend from across the northern border has joined us tonight too, Carol. Great to have you with us.
Yay, she's here. Yay.
Okay, settle down. Holy crap.
What? Keaton is in here. Shit. I guess we better start.
Is early.
Well, I mean, the good thing is it's only a podcast, so, you know. He can be early. Besides, him and his wonderful lady, Kate, went to Maine and made me jealous. They took a picture of Stephen King's house. I'm like, you bastards. All right. Let's, what do you say we get this show on the road? JT, go for the intro, my friend.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to Avenger Pretenders. It's the Redneck and the Geek trying to look like they know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
This week they are reviewing episode number 7 of the new Avengers stream, What If?
That's
Sit back, relax, grab your adult beverage and your popcorn, and have some fun. Sully, it's all yours.
All righty. It's going to be a good one, that's for sure. So hello, everybody, and welcome. Now, for some reason, my camera didn't change over. It's showing your picture.
Yep.
On my screen. That's so weird. That's weird.
Not supposed to be like that.
Nope, it's not supposed to be like that at all. There we go. Hello, everyone.
While you're trying to figure that out, I'll tell you this.
What?
I have never seen an episode that had so many freaking cameos.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there was more cameo appearances in this episode than there was in the zombie episode.
Yes. And I had a lot of cameos to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, and my thinking is it was like probably close to double to what they had in the zombie episode.
Oh, and there were a lot, that's for sure.
I mean, all through the show, I'm looking at Kay going, you know who that is, right? You know who that is?
You know that person there? He's this guy.
It was crazy.
He's this guy.
It was crazy. It was nuts.
And of course, if you haven't realized by now, episode 7 of What If is titled, What If Thor Were an Only Child? And first, aside from the Easter eggs, there's lots of them.
Oh my God.
Keaton just said, not going to last long. We just ordered Chinese food, but Maine was so awesome. A little jealous. I love going to Maine. Not too jealous of the Chinese food. I'm not a big Chinese food person, but to each
the nice thing is, Keaton's, you can always take us in the bathroom with you.
That's true. Or put us up on the TV and just enjoy. Just enjoy.
That too.
But, so we are talking about episode 7. What if Thor were an only child? And wow. Obviously, this was Chris Hemsworth's episode. You know, every other episode so far where they teased Thor or they showed him, you didn't even hear him. So this was a Chris Hemsworth episode. And boy, let me tell you, I didn't know where they were going to go with it at first. I really didn't. And I'm kind of glad they did, because I thought, I don't want to say it was hysterical, but it certainly had its moments.
Oh, it was funny as hell.
It certainly had its moments, and with I'm sure I'll give it away as soon as I say this, but it was basically a big frat party.
We'll put it this way. It was the party to end all parties on Midgard.
Yes.
And if you haven't watched, you'll understand why I say that as we go through the episode.
Yeah. Keaton wants to know if Iron Man is coming back. Probably not as Robert Downey Jr., but we'll get there eventually. I mean, that's the beauty of all these wonderful shows. You can pretty much do whatever you want in What If and screw it all up, which is fantastic if you ask me. So
I mean, the way that they went with this, dude, I'm just going to say this outright.
Yep.
The way that they went with this episode was freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It was freaking awesome. They took Thor and turned him 180 degrees 4 different times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think this was the episode that they sat down with each other and said, hey, let's have fun with this one.
Yes. Let's have a good time. Let's throw a party. And who better than Thor? Who better than Thor? Obviously, we start the episode out with the Watcher describing what exactly happens, and instead of Odin keeping Loki, he returns him to the Frost Giants, leaving Thor to grow up as an only child, no brother, no sister, and before he becomes of age, Thor started traveling amongst the cosmos, also known as the self-dubbed Party Prince. Which, I could see that. I could too. I could see that.
Most only child are spoiled ass rotten brats.
Yes, and
I'm just gonna say it. I don't care if people get mad at me. It's true.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, technically speaking, Thor, in this whole wonderful shebang of an episode, is that spoiled brat.
That's why I said it.
He is that spoiled brat. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is the spoiled brat. And where we kind of take off on the episode is Odin goes into Odin's sleep, just like in the first movie. The only difference is obviously Thor is by his side, so is his mother Frigga, and you never know when Odin is going to wake up from Odin's sleep, because it's kind of like Odin recharging his body. The guy's thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, so he's got to sleep. He's got to recharge the batteries. Got to recharge the batteries at one point in time, because otherwise all hell will break loose. And we don't want that. Yeah. Not at all. No.
You don't want to be around Odin when he's tired, because he gets really pissy.
He'll be cranky. He'll be cranky, and he'll shove a thunderbolt up your ass.
Mm.
That's just my opinion. Okay.
Ouchie.
Yeah, just a little bit. But
Just a little bit.
this basically allows Thor to have some fun, so to speak. But before all hell starts breaking loose, Frigga says to Thor, "You need to catch up on your studies on the Nine Realms to prepare to become King of Asgard." Because let's face it, Odin's not going to be around forever. Makes sense. Study
Mm-hmm.
up to be a king, my son. And that's where. Whew,
Does it that the trouble begins?
that's where. You know what? I wouldn't say it's trouble. I would
Oh yeah,
say. I would say it's.
the mischief.
Yes. Yes. It's kind of like they reversed the roles and gave the attitude of Loki to Thor,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. So she tells Thor, "No partying. None of it. You need to study. Simple as that. You need to study. Don't leave. I'm watching you." Which she wasn't really watching. Let's face it.
Right.
So he gathers up Sif and the Warriors 3 to travel to Earth and perform the contrary, as Heimdall barely pays attention to the humans. So in this universe, Heimdall, who sees everything, doesn't really take a look at Earth. He doesn't watch them.
Right.
And technically, Thor isn't the protector of Earth, so he's not going to watch Earth. So he's going to basically turn a blind eye and not worry about it. So we fast forward to the desert of New Mexico, where we meet up with Jane and Darcy, who are
It's up to.
basically trying to figure out what is going on. And just like in the beginning of the first movie, they're trying to figure out where, all these signals are coming from, the Bifrost and everything like that we've seen before in the MCU, only they haven't really discovered it yet until it happens. Only this time he doesn't land in the desert. He lands in the biggest party city ever.
Right in the middle of downtown.
Downtown Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Yup. Downtown Las Vegas is where it shows up.
Just a little bit of a party town. The only place that's known for any more partying than Las Vegas is Germany for Oktoberfest, and that's only once a year.
I was about to say Belgium.
Yeah.
So obviously Jane and Darcy are doing the right thing where they contact S.H.I.E.L.D., let them know something is happening. There's some type of alien invasion, and they believe that it's the same force that decimated an alpha star that they recorded 2 years prior. I don't remember if they actually say what alpha star it is, but for them, they didn't know what planet it was. So for them, they just think a star got destroyed and they recorded it and they were able to catch it on their instruments and show it and see it and record all the data that happened to it. And while they're in Vegas, this is one of those situations where what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas.
No, it pretty much spreads like wildfire.
Yeah. And for this part, Earth is, well, Las Vegas, all the people in Vegas, that's their first time dealing with an alien invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Because Avengers didn't happen yet.
Right.
Actually, well, I don't know if I can say that because there's ties to Captain Marvel, but we'll get there. But if you think about it, publicly, this is the first time that they're actually dealing with some type of alien invasion. Only they're here to party. But it doesn't stop with Thor and the Warriors 3 and some of their soldiers. They bring a lot of people. They bring a
It's
lot
kind
of
of
people.
it's kind of like in Home when the one guy accidentally, sends out the invite to the entire universe.
Yes. Yes,
But
exactly.
this time the invitation was not canceled in time.
Nope.
So everybody got it and everybody showed up.
Yes. So we see a lot of things going on. Parties, we see fountains being destroyed, buildings going all over the place, drinks everywhere. Everybody's having a great time. There's music, you name it.
Magically refilling beer mugs.
Yes, yes,
I
the
want one of
beer
those.
the beer is endless.
I want one of those.
And as they're partying, we see more and more life forms starting to show up and more cameos. First of which,
Oh God.
I'm
The
gonna
cameos were crazy.
I'm gonna just deal with it right now. First of which, Howard the Duck.
You love Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck is freaking awesome. He'll always be awesome. And I'm not talking about the 1980s Lucasfilm Howard the Duck.
Right.
I'm talking about
That
the
one was kind of
MCU.
that one was kind of shit.
You know what? You and I need to do like a whole review of that movie. It'll be great. Uh, but at the
Well,
same time,
we would never be sponsored by the company that made that film.
Lucasfilm, Star Wars,
Exactly.
Indiana Jones.
Exactly. We would never
Hey,
be sponsored by them after that.
it could happen. And listen, everybody knows how bad it is. Okay. But Howard the Duck is out and about. He's walking around. Him and Darcy start having some fun and whatnot. They're drinking together. But at the same time, Jane is trying to talk to Thor about the Alpha Star that was destroyed.
Yep.
And it kind
He's
of.
not listening.
Oh, he's definitely not listening at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not listening at all. And for him, he's starting to flirt with her. She's starting to flirt back. And they start having fun together, which is good. And we see a lot of cutscenes of the party, people getting pictures, crowd surfing,
Oh,
music blasting, people
a
just
wedding.
having. Yes, a wedding. Darcy gets married to Howard the Duck. I don't know how weird that is, but you know what? Then
Can
again,
you imagine those babies?
oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. But
I'm just saying.
think of it this way: that was a great homage to the original Howard the Duck movie. Just putting it out there.
Just putting it out there. Just saying.
But at the same time, one of the things that we see, and I'm not gonna to ruin it just yet because I want to get into the next part because this is really a cutscene that happens. The next morning, we see everybody in a hotel room in Vegas. Thor, Lady Sif, they're all there. The Warriors 3 are all there, and Jane's in nothing but a t-shirt. Thor's on the other side of the room. Jane's phone is going off. Nick Fury's calling her. Thor's being knocked on, and it turns out that Brock Rumlow and Maria Hill of S.H.I.E.L.D., also known as Crossbones and Maria Hill, invite them to the helicarrier. But at the same time, they keep saying, we've been trying to get in touch with you because we want to talk to you about what happened last night. And Fury has been trying to reach you, and you haven't been answering your phone. And she goes, well, why couldn't... Keaton, Jane was calling me, LOL. Well, at the same time, she says, well, why isn't Fury here himself? What's going on? And that's when Maria Hill says that Nick Fury was attempting to reach Thor and got knocked into a coma by Korg. So now we have more coming in, leading, and that leaves Maria Hill to be the acting director of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the moment. So we see Korg come flying in with a vehicle, and Fury goes flying. It's like, will you come down? There it goes.
I kind of feel bad for Fury in this one.
Yeah, me too.
Kinda. Not a lot bad, but a little bad.
Well, from there, Coulson reveals that the party atmosphere has begun spreading to all other corners of the world. The party that they started in Vegas is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's coming from every aspect across the globe. And
You remember the movie Outbreak?
yes.
When they had just discovered what it was and everything, and they did the, this is how it's spreading thing.
Yes.
That was kind of what their map looked like during that.
So, if we tie it to reality, it was the year 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, folks. Just putting it out there.
Except it didn't start here; it started there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we'll throw that out there.
Yes. So when that happens, Thor leaves for France, leaving Jane with Shield, and even though she objects to any sort of Shield intervention, Rumlow brings forth Fury's pager. And it was the same pager that Carol Danvers gave Fury in case of an emergency. Well, while in France, we see...
Do as the French do.
Well, sure. Yes, absolutely. Do as the French do. While in France, the party's just getting bigger and bigger. And we see Loki show up. Only it's Loki as a frost giant. Now, one of the things that I did notice was Loki's crown. Obviously it wasn't a gold Asgardian crown where it had the horns, but he did have a gold crown and ice horns sticking out. So
it actually took me a minute to realize that was Loki.
Really?
Because look at how huge he is.
Well, yeah, he's a frost giant.
But then why is he not that huge?
Because he grew up on Asgard.
Okay.
That's
I guess,
why.
Yeah.
So he didn't...
See, that explains that.
So he wasn't with his people, so he grew up on Asgard, so he stayed small and human form. In this situation, though, since Odin gave him back, he grew as the frost giants would, and it would have to do with the home world. So from there, Loki shows up, and the first thing that Thor says is, it's his brother from another mother. and I love how Chris Hemsworth says it. I can't say it in his accent, but it was like, oh, it's my brother from another mother. And the two of them had like
another mother.
But they had a secret handshake and everything.
Yep.
So as they're partying, we see the arrival of Carol Danvers. She comes right out from wherever she was and demands Thor to leave Earth with all his buddies.
Yes.
And he says no. And he humiliates Danvers as a, quote, party pooper. Yeah, party pooper.
Yes.
They did exchange blows, not just verbally, but physically as well. They did exchange blows. But at one point in time, Danvers kind of just gave up beating the living crap out of him and went back to the helicarrier, which was very quick, by the way. Yeah, what was it? They had a little scuffle at Stonehenge, right? I think it was Stonehenge, where he kept saying, party pooper and whatnot, and he basically destroyed Stonehenge by just knocking it over, and Danvers got really pissed at him, pissed so much that she left, completely embarrassed, humiliated, and Maria Hill is yelling at Danvers because she didn't fix the problem. She didn't get rid of Thor. She didn't get rid of his buddies or his pals or his party animal friends. And Maria Hill's being the mother figure of, you didn't do your job. You're the strongest person on the face of the earth, and you didn't do your job. Get back out there and do your
Mm-hmm.
job. And I like that Carol had to explain to her that if she used all of her power, that she would blow a crater in the earth,
Mm-hmm.
basically destroying the earth and killing people. And I thought that was, kind of like, listen, if I do this, I'm going to kill people, and it's on your head.
And it was also kind of you obviously don't know what the hell you're doing if you don't already know
Right.
that if I do this, I am going to, make a crater bigger than freaking Niagara Falls and the Grand Canyon combined.
It's going to be a hole.
It's going to be a big old hole.
It's going to be a big hole. So from
Keep going.
there, we got a lot of things going on at the same time, because now Maria Hill wants to say, listen, we need to get rid of this guy. Let's send a nuke at him and destroy him.
Multiple nukes.
Yes, not just one, multiple.
Not just one, multiple.
And obviously Carol and even Jane and Darcy and all of them, they're saying, no, you really shouldn't do this. You don't want to drop a nuke on a population where they are, because you end up killing everybody. You don't want to do that. Let Carol handle it, And this is when things start to get to the point of a frat party. Even worse. Because what happens at frat parties? And I'm not saying all frat parties. So if anybody was a part of a frat and they went to a party and they got drunk or whatever, it's not all frat parties. But I have seen what happens at frat parties. I have seen evidence of what happens at frat parties. I have seen things destroyed. I have seen things in the movies and real life, and life imitates art and art imitates life. So I've seen things. We've heard the stories. They're all true. Now, some things are starting to get destroyed. They're starting to do confetti not confetti. Wow. Graffiti. Clip that. Graffiti all over the place on certain monuments. Stonehenge is destroyed. Other landmarks are getting vandalized. And
my favorite one was the Statue of Liberty.
Yes, the Statue of Liberty.
When he cut her arm off. He said, oh shit.
Whoops. Serta. Good old Serta. Serta is another cameo that hit. So, Serta destroyed the Statue of Liberty. Thor destroyed Stonehenge. There's graffiti coming up all over the place. The Eiffel Tower, if I remember correctly, something happened with the Eiffel Tower. I think I don't want to say it fell, but I know something happened. And they're going from place to place now.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up in Sydney, Australia, where the party just gets bigger and bigger. And while they're in Sydney, Loki grabs Thor's phone and calls Jane.
Well, no, I think he didn't call Jane. He answered Thor's phone.
Oh, that's right. Jane called Thor.
Jane called him.
You're right. I apologize. Jane called Thor, and Loki picked up. And he breaks the phone. He accidentally breaks the phone. Drops it. And mind you, Loki's huge. So, when the phone falls, it's falling from a good height. But
yeah, it's a bit of a fall.
But at the same time, he's flirting with Jane the entire time he's on the phone. and I love that it's Tom Hiddleston doing it, because it was just completely out of the water for Loki. Listen, I may be a frost giant, but I'm a ladies' man, that type of thing, And
right.
I absolutely loved that he was flirting with her and coming on to her and basically trying to steal her from Thor behind Thor's back. So after the phone is broken, Darcy and Jane kind of get this idea where if Thor is real and Loki is real, then technically Thor's mother should be real, father should be real, all these other Norse god mythology characters should be real, which means if they plan things correctly, then they would be able to reach out to Heimdall and get him to notice what's going on. So, first and foremost, great plan. Great plan. I thought that was a great plan of, hey, we need, if these people exist.
It's time to get mommy involved.
Yeah, let's call mom.
And, I love it when things that happen in shows make me think of other shows. As you know, usually it's a Family Guy reference or a Simpsons reference.
Absolutely.
Or something like that. Want to say hi to Koshari, who just joined us in the chat room.
Spoiler alert.
But
talking about
right,
what if?
But as soon as they said, we need to reach out to his mother,
we need to call his mom.
I instantly flashed to the Big Bang Theory when Sheldon and Penny were having their feud.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That started with the underwear out on the wire,
on the flag
and everything, and and Penny says, well, actually Leonard gave her the out.
Yes.
Which was to call Sheldon's mom.
Absolutely.
And Sheldon's mom called Sheldon, and guess what? All was well.
All was well in the world, because sometimes you just need to make that call.
Yep.
And let's face it, in this case, it had to happen. It had to happen. Gashiri says, sorry, I've been busy working in the new state. We moved. Been a while for internet getting installed, and I missed my weekly punches. Well, we're glad you're back. And yay to being in a new state. Anything can happen. You never know.
Mm-hmm. And just so you know, this is a Puncher side project.
Yes.
This is actually Avenger Pretender show where we talk about, Avenger stuff and things going on.
Uh-huh.
But you can come back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern for the Sully show. We'll be here
anytime soon. Stick around. It's fun. But if you haven't watched the episodes or don't plan to, then please don't worry about it. We're telling you about it. So Darcy and Jane go back out into the desert, exactly where they were supposed to be, and they use their instruments, and boy, do they get Heimdall's attention. They get Heimdall's attention so much that he just transports her right to Asgard. And when she appears in front of him, she goes, "Hi, I'm Jane." So that's like that awkward "Hi, I need to talk to Thor's mom." And of course, Heimdall, Heimdall does what he needs to do and sends Jane to where Frigga is with her sisters, that she only sees once every 1,000 years, give or take. At least if I remember that correctly. So she tells Frigga that her son is on Earth and what he's doing. And in Sydney, Thor is abducted by Carol Danvers and taken to Siberia, where they're basically beating the hell out of each other until they get to Siberia. And S.H.I.E.L.D. is ready to drop a nuke. Not just any nuke, multiple nukes. And as that happens, Carol's telling Thor, listen, you need to clean up. like now, and get the hell out of here. And at the same time, Frigga uses her magic, uses some dark magic that she has, and appears to Thor. So
She manifests.
Oh, yes, manifests. She just appears. She just
JT knows a big word.
Kashiri says, more like the awkward morning coffee with the girl you took home last night. Oh, hey, I thought you would be gone by now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. She just quoted Quagmire.
Yes, she did. Giggity. All right. So
you're supposed to be gone.
So Frigga has a wonderful exchange with Thor. And Thor says that he's been studying. They've been studying, and they went to they went to Midgard to study, and Frigga says, "Well, I'm coming to find out."
You're freaking bullshit.
So you better not be lying.
Because Mama's gonna know.
Now, at the same time, because of that wonderful manifestation, Maria Hill decides not to launch the nuke, and Carol Danvers goes, better get cracking. Better get cracking. So she stops. She stops fighting them. And Thor goes into fight or flight mode and flies all the way back to Sydney and says, guys, we need to clean up. We need to clean up. We need to stop. We need to clean up. And everybody
at first they're like, I would have been, like any frat party, like, nah, hell no.
Oh, who needs to clean
shit.
up?
I'm going home.
We don't need to clean up. Come on. Come on. They took the bar. This is like Animal House died down for the language and the sex and nudity, but upped with the party factor because it was all over the world. Now.
There you go. There you go.
He starts becoming the party pooper.
Yeah.
As Loki put it. You're becoming a party pooper. So now we have everybody trying to leave him. And finally gets to the point where they're like, listen, either you help me clean up or my mother's going to kick our ass.
Yeah, and initially when he was doing it, he was trying to do it without saying, my mom's coming, so help. He's just like, well, we need to clean. And then when he finally says, look, guys, my mom's coming.
My mother's coming.
They finally help out.
My mother's coming to kill me.
And that's when they finally decide, okay, we'll help.
They decide to help and clean up and all this wonderful good stuff. And once Frigga lands on Earth through the Bifrost, and it's one of those things where it was the last minute type of situation where they had finished cleaning up. Kind of like those old 90s house party movies where they kind of just come in and hide everything and shove it all in the closet. That's pretty much what just happens. Because she says, I'm not a nerd with this stuff. Kind of feel out of place. Don't worry. So does JT.
Welcome to my world.
That's why we're doing the show.
I will say this. My favorite part of the entire cleanup montage, they're going through and they're fixing the Eiffel Tower and they fix the Opera House in Amsterdam and they fix the Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
My favorite one was when they fixed the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yes, they straightened it.
To where it was standing straight up and down instead of leaning like it was supposed to be.
Yes. Yes. So
that was awesome.
As Frigga arrives, she sees Thor and the Warriors 3 and a whole bunch of other alien races sitting down learning about Earth. And Frigga doesn't really believe that that's what they're doing. Until Carol Danvers shows up with a tablet loaded with information on human civilizations. And basically, says, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna help you out here because you cleaned up, you did your thing, I did my thing. We're good. Okay, we're good." And
Right.
as as they all decide, okay, class is dismissed. We're all going to go back to Asgard and or your respective planets that you're from. Thor says, "Wait!" And he has to retrieve Mjolnir. Only when it shows up, it's covered with party materials.
Right.
Graffiti, party materials. It's just destroyed. And he is begging his mother, no, wait, no, this is not, it's not what it looks, not what it looks.
I like what Coach Sherry says. She says, "All I know about Thor is Odin is."
Clip that.
Want to try that again? Yeah, let's try that again. All I know about Thor is Odin is his dad, and I like to joke about, quote, Jesus promised to get rid of. Do you want to try it?
Clip that.
Jesus promised to rid the world of sinners. Odin promised to rid the world of frost giants. I don't see any frost giants. Do you?
True, but in this episode there are.
There's a whole bunch of frost giants, and Loki's one of them.
And Loki's one of them. Yep. Now, as that happens, we cut to the Watcher, and man, they're showing the Watcher more and more now, which is really cool. Which leaves me to believe that something is going to happen with him much later on, or maybe with I don't want to say Shang-Chi yet because I haven't seen it yet, but I do plan on watching it. But I think we're going to see something with the Eternals with him, maybe even with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. So we're not going to rule Jeffrey Wright out just yet, but something's happening because they're showing him more now.
Yes.
And I've noticed that that's been happening with each episode. We're seeing him more and more, and he's interacting more and more, or looking over and talking, and you seeing him more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically says, brings you to a scene where they're back in New Mexico, and Thor is with Jane, and they're basically sharing information, sharing data. And as Thor leaves, the Watcher says, "And the two living happily ever after." However, a portal opens up. And when a portal opens up, bad things usually happen.
Never a good thing.
And in this case, we see an army of Ultron sentries along with Ultron / the Vision branding the 6 Infinity Stones. And then we cut to black. And that's the end of the episode.
Well, and just something that your comment just now reminded me of. We have the appearance of the Gauntlet.
Yep, twice. That's twice now.
Twice. I was gonna say twice because it's at the end, but at the very beginning, as Thor and his mom and the other lady are walking.
That was the fake
walking and talking, where she's telling them, you need to study and all that stuff. They walk past the Gauntlet.
Yeah, but that was the fake one.
Huh?
That's the fake one.
Okay, but it's still,
yes.
The representation of the Gauntlet is there twice.
Yes, that is one of the Easter eggs, because that was originally an Easter egg in the first Thor movie, and then in in Thor Ragnarok, Hela basically goes fake and pushes it over. So it was a tie to both movies, which was really good. But we've also seen it on Thanos' hand in the Zombies episode. And now we're seeing it again.
Well, I was just talking about this episode, though.
Yep. And now we're seeing it again, only this time Vision has it. Mm-hmm. So now we've got some things going on. And this is why I'm saying I have a feeling that the Watcher is going to be playing a very, very big role coming up soon. Whether it's in the movies or in this series. I know they already greenlit a season 2 of this, but it's going to be awesome. Some of
Yeah,
the
it's
some
going to
of
be
the
interesting
other
to see.
some of the other cameos we had Jeff Goldblum playing the Grand Master. We had Coulson, we had Korg, Nebula, Lady Sif, and we had Topaz. So there was a lot of cameos for this. Nick Fury, and everybody did their respective voices except for Frigga. Frigga was Gisette Ailes. I'm not 100% sure who that person is, but very great voiceover work. And we also had Hogan, Volstagg, Drax. Drax was in it. Surtur, Fandral. Had a whole bunch of different people, including Ravagers. Lots of things happening. But of course, it wouldn't be an episode without some Easter eggs. Just saying. For example, one of the things is a blink and you'll miss it type of thing, where there is actually a bystander who's watching this party happen in Vegas, and he's wearing the same exact Hawaiian shirt that Korg was wearing in Avengers Endgame while he was playing Fortnite. So blink and you miss it type of thing.
Right.
Obviously, we mentioned Lady Sif and the Warriors 3. That's a big one. And I don't know if this is really an Easter egg, because they do touch up on it, that Loki and Thor actually were getting along.
Mm-hmm.
Frost Giant, Asgardian. So it kind of changes things a little bit. You know? A tie to the first Thor movie was the Casket of Ancient Winters, which, if you don't remember what that is, that was the blue box that Loki had, that he was able to freeze some of the frost giants in the first movie. Took it from the vault and used it as a weapon. And basically, when he touched it, that's what turned him blue, to figure out that he's actually a frost giant. So that was a very, very good homage. JT, like you mentioned before, the fake Infinity Gauntlet was seen. Only difference this time, it didn't get knocked over. And this is how much they pay attention to detail. So if you look back at Thor Ragnarok and you see the fake Infinity Gauntlet, you'll see that the gemstones that are in it, one, they're not in the right place. They're not in the right place at all.
Not in the right order, and that's how she was able to identify the fact that it was fake.
That it was fake. In this, the colors were exactly the same. Same setting, whatever, however, freaking hell. Wow, clip that. I did it too. But it's the same design, same color scheme. You know, it does the red, yellow, red, then blue, purple, green in the middle. You know, it's just not the right order.
Right.
We got Kraglin. Kraglin was in it as one of the Ravagers. They were all drinking the beer, the endless beer, mind you. And we also see Skrulls. We see the Skrulls and Yondu. Yondu's a blink and you'll miss it type of thing. Obviously, where one Ravager is, another one is. But you can see when Thor is up on the platform of the steps and they're cheering and he's toasting and everything, you can actually see the you can see the strip for his arrow on his head. So it's, again, a blink and you miss it. And JT's got the cat again.
I'm trying to ignore her.
Koshiri says, what are the clips for? Anytime we screw up in talking. Anytime we screw up in talking. And by the way, if you're not part of our Discord, join our Discord. There's the link. Click it. Join it. Have some fun with us outside of the shows. It's awesome. But, and then, of course, we have Carl Urban's Scourge. Scourge is in it. Great cameo by Scourge. Obviously, Carl Urban didn't do the voice because we didn't really hear him talk. But he's like, Scourge, how are you? You know? So it was a lot of ties. A lot of ties. The never ending drinks. If you remember the never ending drinks that came up in Doctor Strange, where he was refilling his cup, and we also have the Guardians of the Galaxy ships. And as we mentioned, aside from the wedding,
Mm-hmm.
Howard the Duck. There was a gag in the original movie. And one of those gags, and this happened in the episode as well, big talk coming from a brunette. It's an odd comment. It is an odd comment, but that same line was in the original movie. So, great connection there. They're not exactly saying, "Hey, the movie happened," but it's a great line. It's a great line, you know. And of course, in the original movie, that's when Leah Thompson's character and Howard the Duck actually had sex. How that worked out, I don't know, but it happened.
Yeah, luckily they didn't go into that.
I'm glad they didn't show it, but it would have been freaking hysterical. It really would. It would. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah. We also have, like I said, one of the other homages was from the tiny insult, so tiny in Avengers, where Thor's like, humans are so petty and tiny. It happens.
Right.
Petty and tiny. That was in there. We have Fandrel's goatee. If you didn't notice his goatee, the other movies he didn't really have a full goatee. It was more of a full beard. But in this, they actually had the full mustache going across, full pointed goatee. So that was a good homage to the comic. Grandmaster, like I said again, but they also had an eye joke and Korg. And if you didn't notice, when they were playing the game, Nebula is playing dice, and she's hoping to win a brand new eye. She wanted to win an eye. And basically she said, Thanos removed Nebula's eye after she lost the fight to Thanos, and that was in the MCU, so it was a great tie. Valkyrie was in it. We saw Valkyrie. And the one thing that most people probably didn't notice is the wedding of Darcy and Howard the Duck.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably one of the greatest Easter eggs that no one would put together. Did you notice what was going on with that marriage?
Mm-mm.
Who did the ceremony?
I don't remember.
Elvis.
Huh?
Elvis did the ceremony. However, it's not just any Elvis. If you look real close at the face, it's Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell has played Elvis numerous times. Numerous times. He even played Elvis in Forrest Gump. So a lot of things going on. And of course, he's Ego. So technically, we just saw Ego marry Howard the Duck and Darcy.
There you go.
Thor and Jane's tattoo, magic and science. That was a good homage to where they come from, what they do. Rocket being drunk in the sink in the hotel room in Las Vegas. And if you don't find that funny, go back and watch The Hangover because that tied it up perfectly. And It's basically Thor's rabbit in a sink. So,
Yeah.
a lot of things happening. Aisha was in there. Again, a lot of cameos, like JT said. The Helicarrier was there.
Oh God.
The Frost Giant Loki variant is a tie to the Loki episode where they show him as a Frost Giant. Gosheri says she's off the bed. Night Punchers, I will try to be on tomorrow. We hope to see you. We hope to see you. Hope everybody's doing great. And Loki, Loki instead of son of a bitch says son of a witch. So yeah, yeah. Whitesnake. There was a comment from Captain Marvel with Whitesnake. She basically calls Thor, "Hey, Whitesnake." Perfect, since she's from the 90s and all that other good stuff. So, a lot of things that are happening. And of course, let's face it, it's just all around fun. It really was. It was just an all around fun episode. It wasn't political. It was a frat party. It was Animal House. It was Marvel's version of Animal House. With a few other
Pretty much.
with a few other side things going on. So, lot of things. And one thing that I do have to point out, as the party's breaking up, Nebula actually has a line, and she says, "My dad will kill me." If I get caught, my dad will kill me. And we all know who her dad is. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And to go back to your comment on the Leaning Tower of Pisa and how it was fixed, that's an homage to Superman 3, if you think about it. In Superman 3, they fixed it. Superman fixed it and then put it back to normal and kept doing whatever they were doing. So there was a lot of interesting things going on. A lot of interesting things. Probably too many to even comment on. Some people were saying that the Vision Ultron looked like Galactus. I have a feeling we'll see him. Just be patient, folks. Just saying. So that was... It's a far stretch, but it looked like Ultron with just... Ultron's mask was basically Vision. So, in the end, JT, what do you give this week's episode of What If? How many what if question marks? I know it's hard.
Yeah, it's tricky because I loved all the cameos. The cameos were great. I mean, you were if you were a fan of cameos, you were in cameo freaking heaven.
I think I got to go back and watch it again just to see if I can spot them all. and I know I mentioned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you like cameos, you were in cameo heaven. If you didn't, you were in cameo freaking hell.
Yes.
Myself, I kind of liked it, because it was tying all of the Thor movies in to this one episode.
Yes.
Which is, you would think would be tricky to do, but they found the perfect way to do it and just bring everybody in for a big party.
Yay, party!
The jokes were hilarious. The scenario and everything. Part of me wants to give it a low score because of how lax of an episode it was.
Okay. Oh, like action-wise?
Well, no, just you look at all the other episodes and stuff, there's always something serious going on, right, that they're reacting to and that kind of thing, where this wasn't the case
right
in this episode. But I really liked it. I think I'm going to have to go with Nakia. 4 question marks.
Okay.
Just because it was a fun episode.
It really
I
was.
laughed more in the 30 some odd minutes of this episode than I've laughed in the entire series up to this point.
And it was a pretty long episode. I mean,
It
it was a
was.
little over 30 minutes.
And I mean, it was fun. It kept you engaged, but at the same time, it wasn't so serious that you were sitting there going,
huh?
You were laughing, like myself and Kay. We were talking about things and all that kind of stuff. So I'll go ahead and give it a 4. I was kind of sitting between a 3.5 and a 4. Not really sure which way to go. I'll go ahead and give it a 4.
Sure. All right. So that's good. Listen, I'm right there with you. I'm going to give it a 4 as well. I think that it was a different turn. It was a different take. They didn't want to do full action on it. And listen, there was, aside from Thor and Captain Marvel beating the living crap out of each other, there was no action. The action was the party.
Yep.
It made Thor the antagonist in a fun way. He was a teenager. He was basically a teenager. He was the college frat boy.
Right.
Which is completely different than what we've seen so far in the MCU.
Yeah, because Thor is always the serious, not cracking jokes.
He's the
really
god of thunder
kind of guy.
Right. He's the god of thunder. I'm the god of thunder. Fear me,
Yeah.
So I will definitely say that I agree. It's definitely a 4 out of 5 question marks. And I really I can't wait until the next episode, to be honest. And I know I've been saying that, but now I think the whole first half of the season, they got all that political BS out of the way, and now they're just having fun, which is good.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, some of that political BS, it was part of it. It needed to be part of it, especially with Captain America and all them. So I can see why they're doing what they're doing. I think once we got to the zombie episode, that's when they went, all right, we need to have fun before we lose these people. I'm going to watch it no matter what. I'm more of a Marvel fan than DC, but I can hold my own on DC. I really can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all in agreement. 4 question marks out of 5 between the two of us, as well as our main moderator, Lady Death, who always chimes in with what she gives it, because we like that. We like that. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you what your question marks are. Leave it in our Avenger Pretender podcast channel. We have one there. It's good. Go to Discord. But with that being said, we are going to end it. So make sure you tune in every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Avenger Pretenders as we go over What If. And then, of course, Hawkeye will come out in November, so we've got that little hiatus going on between the two, which is going to be phenomenal. Can't wait for Hawkeye. It's going to be fantastical. That's what I say. So keep looking out for that. And of course, download and share the podcast. Anchor.fm/The Sully Show. That's where you can get it live after I post it, because that's what it's all about. Having some fun. Share it on your Facebook page. Share it on Twitter. You name it. Okay? Do it. You guys have been watching and listening. Avenger Pretenders, starring one geek and a redneck. For JT Hollis, I'm Sully. We will see you next week. And for those still watching, we're going to do a raid. Yeah, we're going to do a raid. We're going to do a raid.
We're not going to do an invasion. We're just going to do a raid.
Well, I mean, we could do an invasion. I just think it would be a pretty pathetic invasion.
This is a reconnaissance raid. That's what this is.
A reconnaissance raid? So we're going to do a raid right now. We're going to go raid Sim Trisha, because I know she is live. She's back to
finally back on the air, huh?
After her hiatus, which was good. So make sure you guys go and say hi. Use Punchers Unite in the chat. And we will see you guys tomorrow for the Sully Show at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Accidental Punch TV. We will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.